This conference will now be recorded.
Right. Now, if I want to access directly of this class method, I can access, but the only one condition here. So this test method can be accessed directly only inside this particular class. Outside of the class, that's not possible. Observe. If you want, you can create one more class here, but observe team. So let's consider this is the entire file. Here, if you want, you can create a one more class here itself. Observe. Class B. That's it. Right? Even if you create here also, no problem at all. But here I'm creating one more class in the same document. Even if you want, if you can create one more class here also. This is A class, class A. This is a B class, class B. This is a C class, class C. So as of now, I'm not giving this public keyword. So there is a reason behind it. No worries. Okay, just class keyword and your class name. That's how you have to create a class, right? And even if you want, you can create one class along with another class, or else if you want, you can create one class inside another class. It's possible. Class B, class C. Even if you want, you can create these classes inside a class. Observe here. Outer class, class A. Inside class A, class B. Inside class B, class C. Nested classes. If you have a requirement, you can create one class in another class, one class in inner class. See, this is we are saying outer class. This is inner class. C also you can call inner class of B. Inner class of A. Clear team?
Yeah.
No confusion, right? Now let me remove this one. So I have a class. Inside my A class, I have a method called test method. So if you want, you can access directly this test method. I can able to execute this test method only inside this class. So you cannot execute this testing method in another class. Let's say, first of all, we should have a main method. Now observe, try to call it, you cannot call. Because so this is a class is limited to where in this class, whether it may be static method or non-static method. So if you want directly you can access, but the limitation is possible only inside the same class. Outside of the class you cannot able to access, right? And this is you are calling directly. And we have a one more approach. What is that approach, team?
Static way or object creation?
Static way and object creation. So among the static way and object creation team, so let's discuss about object creation. So how to create object team? We have a syntax. What is the syntax? Class name.
Class
You
name.
can take any object name equals to new keyword. Your class name parenthesis. This one. Now, by using this object creation, object reference, you have to call your method. This is calling with object reference. Or if you want, you can call without creating an object either in this class or inside another class, static way, nothing but using class name reference.
Yeah.
Here also you can call it. Now, let observing. So these are the three ways we are using for a static method in the same class. Now go for the B class. And now what are the ways I can approach here to execute A class test method?
Class name reference.
Exactly. Can use class name reference.
A.test of. Yeah.
Or also we can execute by using object creation. Class name, you can use object name equals to new class name and then A dot test method, calling A class a static method using a static. Now, out of these ways, team, so always people prefer to use static way. Why? You can guess it. Why people prefer static way?
Because already memory is stored during class loading.
Exactly. So whenever you're by the time of class loading, there will be a memory allocation for your class. So that is we are saying as what? Static block. Right? So whenever you create object, there will be allocation of memory for your class. So if you create object one more time, again a memory. One more time, again a memory. So this object creation or instance creation is allocating memory. Whenever you execute this line, always a new memory location will be created for your class. Now this is a one-time activity, static block. So whenever you execute your class, by the time of class loading, your static variables, static methods will ready to execute. If you want, if it is inside a class, you can call directly, or if it is another class, you can call by using its class name reference, static way. That's why out of object creation or static way, people are always prefer to use static way. So if you want to call a static way, what is the condition, team? Here, what is the condition? Variable or method should contain static. Clear? Can we call non-static methods or non-static variables without using a class name reference?
No.
Observe. Now observe, team. Now tell me, I want to call A class test A method inside my B class. Now this time, so there is no static keyword. Here itself, in my B class. How to call?
By creating object.
By creating object. Is there any other way?
Or by creating other method, a non-static method.
By creating another method, non-static method. Where do you want to create now?
In class B.
In class B, you want to create a non-static method, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, what's the next step?
By class reference, we should call that method. Again, we should call this method in main.
Okay. So you want to call a test method into this B class method, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Test method. After
By
that,
class reference.
by class name. By class name, you want to.
Okay, sorry, that's non-static. Yeah.
See, the only one condition here, variable or method should contain a static keyword. Otherwise, you cannot use static way.
Yeah.
For the static way, better. Let's remove this one. Okay, now, so if we have a option here, static way object creation, object through object, let's say let's through object, just prefer static way. Now clear?
Yeah.
It is not a possible. Now, anyway, I want to call this test method of A class. How to call? There's only one possibility. You have to go with object only. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Otherwise, there is no chance. Only one way is object.
Object creation.
You cannot go with class name because it is a non-static. And you cannot call directly because it is in another class. So this is applicable for method and variable. Same. So clear, right? Executing
Yeah.
methods and variables inside a same class, inside another class, calling into another class. Naresh,
I'll follow.
right? Now, so always remember these points. See, non-static is not much confusion. The only static one is confusion because all the people are implemented such a way that whenever you are trying to execute your class, always static member will be ready to execute before your non-static members. Why? Because static member will ready whenever your class is loaded. Non-static member will be ready after you are creating object for that class. Clear?
Yeah.
No. Right. So, and we discuss about initializing variables. So, how many ways we can initialize a variable team? How many ways we can initialize a variable? So, already we know the first way, directly.
Directly.
So, how to directly? Just int a equals to 100. This is directly. And so you can
Through
create
object.
like this. First initialize a variable. Without value and update or assign a value like this int a. Then somewhere in your program execution, by the time of program execution, so first you will take like this. After that, so a equals to 100. Or if you want, you can update the existing a value into next value if you want. First, you are initializing a variable without a value. After that, you are updating a value. After that, you are updating existing value. This is the second way, right? And third one, initializing using object. Observe here. Now, let's say in my A class, I have a variable called A, or let's say age, right? Now, so here I want to update this one. Better, we are executing into a static method, right? Let's make it as a static. Otherwise, we'll get an error, right? Now, so as of now, my age variable, static variable. What is the value of this one? What is the value of this one?
Default value.
Default
Zero.
value 0, right? Now, so let's say system.println age variable age. So if you execute this program, you will get a default value.
Yes.
0, because we haven't initialized this variable. By the time of program execution, JVM will initialize, so the variables which is not assigned a value, right? Now observe, let me assign a value. Save it, execute it. 20, right? And also you can update a variable using object reference by the time of calling. Let's say, so if it is a let's consider if it is a, see, anyway we can call directly if it is a static into a static. What if it is a non-static? You can call it directly, right? Now, but here if you want to call or if you want to execute this variable, observe team, first of all I have to create object, class name, object name is called new class name, right? So after that I can call using object reference. Here I am calling the age variable using object reference. As of now, this variable having the value team?
No.
No, right? Observe here. Even you can update this one like this. Object creation, calling a variable, assigning a value. Always value right to left. So 20 value assigning to the age variable by calling with object reference. Any confusion?
No.
No confusion, right?
Yeah.
Hope you clear. Naresh?
It's clear.
Simple. So this I'm including this extra step here. So earlier we have a like this initializing variable, right? So calling into method, calling into inside a static. So if you want to call inside a static, that could possible with the object creation. But here it is not having a value. Before calling it, I am updating a value into a variable. And so one more way, through console. See here. So try to understand here. Even we can initialize a variable through console team. So this is the age variable. There is a predefined class called scanner. What is the class name team? It's the class name itself, scanner, right? That will scan your console. Whatever you are giving here, console, let me clear. Whatever you are giving here in a console part, so that will the value update to your variable. Even you can update your variable value by entering here in a console. So for that, there is a class called scanner. The scanner class will scan your console, or it will take of your input and update the variable value. Right? Now let's create scanner class object. See, it is a inbuilt Java class team. So if you want to use a class, first of all, you have to create object of that particular class. Scanner class, scanner. Okay. Now here you have to give system.in. We'll discuss in why you have to give here system.in. Okay. Okay. Now, so object reference dot there is a method called as next int. Yeah, next int. So this next int method present inside the scanner class, right? So if you execute this thing, it will scan your console and it will take intake. After that, so here it will take your value, whatever you are entering here. So that value you can update to your variable. So here I'm directly updating here. Teacher, okay, so static, right? Static. Clear team. After that, if you want, you can print it. Age updated age. Observe team. If I execute this program, it will execute, but you cannot able to see the output, right? So observe here, it will ask you by the time of execution, over execution, it will ask you your input. Let's observe here. So here, whenever this line execute, so for understanding purpose, enter age input. Observing. Let me execute. Just I am creating a scanner class object. Inside a scanner class, I am calling a next int method for take integer intake. So it will take integer and store it into age variable, and that store it into in my global variable instant variable and print it here. Line number 11. Observe. Enter age input. Let me enter 55. Click on enter. Now observe. Updated age value is 55. Printed in line number 11. This will happen whenever you are trying to use your ATM spirit team. Entering ATM pin, they won't store your ATM pin. By the time of execution, they'll store your data. After the execution, your data will be cleared out. Any questions, team?
If it is the integer is without static, how can we call?
If it is an instant,
Int is without
if it is
static.
not, if it is a
If it is
non-static,
non-static,
Mhm. If it is a non-static, see, first of all, without the main method, as of now, we're not able to execute a program. If you want, you can take this one to another method.
okay.
Public void take input method. Okay, right? Now let me remove this one. Now you have to execute this method. How to execute? Just create object for this class. Class name, object name equals to class name, a dot. What is the method name? Take input.
Okay.
Right? Now this is a non-static method. This is a non-static variable. So anyway, I cannot execute, I cannot call it to inside my main method. For that, I'm taking the help of object creation here. Now I can able to execute this program. Run as Java application. Enter age input. Let's say 100. Enter update age 100. No confusion, right?
Yeah.
Simple. I have removed the int static keyword for this variable, and so anyway, I have to execute without static, right? I have taken a separate method to call the separate method. This is a non-static method. I have created object for this. Any confusion, team?
No, it's clear.
through console. And we have a one more approach. Through constructor, but before that, so there is a dependency. We have to discuss about a constructor. Should learn about a constructor before this one. We'll discuss later how to update the variable value through constructor. As of now, just now directly, right? So using initializing using object through console, and let's me give one more way here itself. This is sixth one. Let me give fifth one itself. Static way. Observe. Let me remove this one. Right. Now I have a variable. Yes, let's give age, which is not declared. Now let me take a main method. Right. Now this is a static. Let me make it as a static variable. If it is a static variable, directly I can access, or else through a class name reference I can access. Observe team. So I'm calling a dot age. Why I'm getting error team? Why I'm getting error?
We can't take variable directly. We should take data type.
Yes,
Or
exactly. Whenever you call a variable always come with some value. You have to store it into one more variable. Int based on a data type. Int data type is int, and so let's say getting age. Right now, as of now, the variable value is 0. Am I updated anything? If you want, you can update by the time of calling. Observe here. Here, I'm updating the value of my age variable, store it into one more variable. Or else, if you want, you can print it like this. Class name, static variable, value. Any confusion, team? Just like an object reference. How we have updated the value by the time of calling object reference, right? Through object. Here we are calling through object. So this is here we are using static way. Class name dot variable. Here there is no value, right? Here you are giving a value. Instead of storing another value, I'm directly using here system.println. Any confusion, team?
No.
Clear.
All right, thanks. Static. Always prefer to use a static routing because we are not creating object, or we are not allocating a new memory to execute a program, right? So this through constructor we'll discuss later. As of now, so initializing directly, initializing with variable without a value, and then updating a value, right? And then through console, right? And then object reference, right? And static way, right? Right. So this is the right time to start OOPS conception. Anyone knows OOPS?
Yeah, object-oriented programming concepts.
Okay. What
Class.
does it mean by object oriented? See, first of all, you should know what is an object. What is an objective?
For creating memories.
Mhm. It is a real-time entity. When we are calling an object, so if it is having some height, weight, width, color, so or if you can feel it by touching, that we can call it as an object, right? Now, in Java, object is nothing but memory of a class team, or people are calling instance or blueprint of a class. All are references same, right? Now, so object oriented. If you're writing a program, so taking the help of object reference, then we can call it as object oriented. So not only Java is an object oriented, there are so many languages which we can call object oriented. Then we can call one programming language an object oriented team. So in order to call a programming language is an object oriented, it must follow few features team. What are those features? First one is class. Second one is object. Next one is inheritance. Fourth one is polymorphism. Abstraction. As object inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction. As object inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction,
Encapsulation.
encapsulation. So this is the order I have to follow. This encapsulation. Generally, I used to discuss encapsulation first. Okay. Class. So already we have a good idea on a class. What is a class team? I can say it's just a template where we are writing a code, right? And next, object. Already we know what is an object team. What is an object? It's a memory of a class, right? So entire Java, we can create object for only class. Other than that, you cannot create. You cannot create a memory for anything other than a class. So for that, we are taking the help of what? What team? New keyword.
Yeah.
By using a new keyword only we are creating, right? So what is the syntax to your object team? What is the syntax team? Class name, object
Object
name
reference.
equals to new
New class name of.
class name, right? Now this is syntax. So anyway, we will discuss going forward object and creating an object multiple times and creating object through class reference or creating by using its parent reference and hash code, how to copy hash code, right? So we'll discuss, no worries. So as of now, for time being, this is a good enough object. is a memory of a class. We can create by using the syntax for class name, object name equal new class name, and for that we are using a Java result keyword new, and for entire Java we can create object for memory for class only. By the time of class loading, so there will be allocation of starting memory, and whenever you create object for a class, there will be allocated non-static memory. You can execute non-static methods and variables using non-static memory with the object reference. Right now, what is mean by OOPS concept? Simple. And before that, object-oriented programming system. So you have to write a program taking the real-time object reference. So yesterday we have seen one example, right? Order list. David is an object, right? John is an object. Have you seen? See it.
Yeah.
Order list, David, new order list. See here, David is an object here. John is an object here. Object here. Each and every object having its own properties and its own behavior. Properties and behaviors. So properties is nothing but, so let's say I'm an object. What are my properties? My properties are my names, my mobile number, my Aadhaar card. These I can say are properties. So in a programming language, you can say variables, properties. Behaviors. I have some behaviors, nothing but I'll do some functions, right? Teaching, eating, walking, talking. These are all my functions. Those you can convey by using our functions. Functions nothing but methods. You can say using the methods. Functions you can convey using methods, and properties you can convey using the variables. Clear, team?
Yeah.
Right. So you have to write a program such a way that by taking the help of these properties, by taking the help of function using a real-time entity reference. Then if you follow these concepts, if you follow the class, object, inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, and data abstraction, so what the advantages you will get, team? You will get a few advantages. What are those advantages? First one is code reusability. Next, code optimization. Code reusability. See, if you write a code, a single line, so you can use it again and again. As I said earlier in the previous session, let's say city. So in this order list, city, right? So this variable you can apply for each and every object. Yes or no? Just you are writing a single line code. If you want, you can apply for 1 lakh objects. For 1 lakh object, this is the only one variable city. Code reusability. Writing.
Yeah.
Next, code optimization, so that you can reduce number of lines of code and less memory allocation. If you follow these concepts, class, object, inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, and data abstraction, you will get these advantages: code reusability, code optimization, less memory allocation. Object-oriented processes, object-oriented programming system team. It's a process. So when one program is following, and when we can say one program is following object-oriented, if the program is following these features, we can say it's an object-oriented. Not only Java is object-oriented, all high-level programming languages all are object-oriented. We can say, so if the programming language following these features, we can say that's an object-oriented. So what is the purpose to follow the object-oriented team? To get these features. code reusability, code optimization, and less memory allocation. Already we have a good knowledge on a class, just template, and already we know object creation, right? So, and let's discuss about inheritance. No questions, right?
No.
Good. Right? No. Let me create a separate package, or else let's discuss here itself. Let's say I have a class A. In this class A, I have a method called test A. As plus maintain. Test A method. Now tell me, team, how to execute this method. This is a non-static method.
We write a main method.
Okay, so we have to take the help of main method. Then
Create a object.
object. Very good. Class name, new class name. Then is this execute
Object
if I
reference
this thing?
A dot test A.
Very good. Very good. Object reference dot this method, whatever you want to call that method. We'll execute this A class test A method. Nothing great. This is what we have seen from a long time. Okay. Now A class test A method. Nothing great. Now let me have one method in my B class. So this is test B method. This is test B method. How to execute this test B method, team? How to execute this test B method here?
Same. Create a object B.
Okay. Class
Class
name.
name.
As of now, I'm taking a B equals to new class
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
B
B.
dot
Test
test
B
B.
off.
Nothing yet. This will execute B class. Test B. Nothing yet. Run as the application. Now I want to execute A class test A method. How to execute? I want to execute A class test A method from B class
Using class reference.
using class name reference.
No
Yeah.
object reference.
See,
Class name. If it is a static,
static way. Class name reference. So only one condition here already I have discussed.
If it is static,
Should be
So
static.
if it is static,
class using class name reference, but
if it is static, you can able to call when that must whether with method or variable should contain a static keyword. Otherwise, you cannot call it. So in my A class, this test A method is a static team. No, right?
no,
So I cannot call
non-static.
using a class name reference. The only one way I have what you have to create object.
Object creation.
After that, you have to call using this object reference. Now this time, this will execute my A class test A method. Run as Java application. See, I could able to execute both classes. Now let's consider in my project I have 100 classes. Same example. Consider I have 100 classes. I want to execute all 100 classes methods and variables inside a single class. How to execute, team? how to execute all 100 classes, methods, and variables inside a single class? Why do you think that must you? Same way, just create an object.
Yeah.
As of now, so we have only these things, right? We have know only these things. If it is possible, execute in a static
Yeah.
way. If it is not possible, execute through object reference. That's what
Yes.
we know as of now, right?
Yeah.
Now, if we have 100 classes, the same process I have to follow. Object creation, class method execution. Object creation, class method execution. Third class, fourth class, fifth class, up to 100 classes, right? So here in Java, we have one feature stream. So if you follow one concept, you can able to execute both class methods or more than one class methods and variables using a single object. Observe here. Here, this is my B class object. This is my A class object. So as of now, let me comment on this one. I'm commenting A class method object creation. I'm calling A class test A. Here, can I call my A class test A method using B class object? Question one more time. Can I call my A class test A method using B class object?
No.
No.
My question is B class object dot A class test A method. Is this a possible or not?
No. No.
No.
Possible.
Possible. Observe here. If you create object for a class, you are allowing to execute that particular class and methods. Sorry, that class variables and methods only. That's limited to same class. If you are creating A class object, you can able to execute A class methods and A class variables. If you are creating object of B class, you can able to execute B class methods and variables using the B class object reference. But here in Java, we have a option. We can execute here both A class methods and variables, B class methods and variables within a B class. For that, we have to use a special keyword called extension. What is the keyword? Extends.
Extend.
Observe here. Here I have to use a keyword. Here I have to use a keyword called extends. This is again a special Java reserved keyword. Observe here. Here B extends. I'm saying B extends. Extends
A.
A. If I am saying B extend A, observe here line number 14. Again, let me remove this one. Observe line number 14. I am getting error. Now, whenever I say B extends A, line number 14, I'm not getting. Here, I am able to execute my A class test A method using B class object reference. Now observe the output. This is nothing great, right? Calling a B class test B method using a B class object. This is a great line number 14. Calling A class test A method using a B class object. Now, how come it's a possibility here? So typically here I'm having two classes. This is a class A. This is a class B. So as of now, before extend keyword, both classes are independent classes. Yes or no? There is no any relationship between class A and class B. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So if I have a method test A in my A class, So here, if you want to call this testa method inside a B class, how to call team? First of all, you have to create object of this class, and later you have to call using object reference. Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is we are calling in a Java language. We are calling as a relationship team. So inheritance. So we have it two types. So one is as a relationship. Nothing but if you want, you can create object of one class inside another class. This is we are calling as a relation. Simple. Creating object of one class inside another class. That's it. Here I am creating A class object in B class. Simple. Right? Now, that is what our main intention. Here, extend keyword. There is a keyword called, what is the keyword T? Extends. If you use like this, B extends A. Whenever you say B extends A, so here my A class is acting as a parent class and my B class is acting as a child class. This is we are calling as parent. This is we are calling as child. Here you have to use child extends A, parent. Whenever you say child extend A, here what I am doing here, I am creating object of B class. If you create object of B class, you can able to execute B class methods and variables and A class methods and variables. Let's say here you have a variable called A. You can able to execute this A class A variable, A class test A method here. If you create object of B like this, B equals to new of B, you can able to execute B dot A calling A class variable and B dot test A method. Along with this parent class, if you have in a methods and variables in a child class, you can able to execute. Here, what is the advantage team here? Here, we are avoiding one more extra class object creation. Here we are avoiding A class object creation. Clear?
Yeah.
Any questions, team?
Nothing.
Here, along with this one, you can able to execute this B class. This is not the thing, nothing. This is not a great thing. So if you have a methods and variables in this class, you can able to execute using this class object. This is a great. If your A class having a variable or a method, so you can execute. Let's say it is having a variable int A equals to 100. Here inside your B class, you can call a variable system.println B dot A here. Observe. This is A class A test A method. This is A class A variable. Clear, team? Please let me know if you have any questions.
No.
And here the condition you have to remember, team. So here, so always flowing of properties or flowing of methods or accessing methods and variables, always parent to child, but not child to parent. Always here inheritance ground rule is always you have to create object of a child class, B class. Here in this example, but not a parent class. Here, observe here. So here, if you create object of A class. Observe team and try to follow, pay attention. So creating a class, parent class, A equals to new of A dot, observe, getting a variable. This is, you can A dot A, calling a class variable with a class object. Now A dot test A method. So calling a class test A method using a class object reference. Now observe here, let's say here in my B class, let's have a B variable and test B method using a class object A dot B. Observe, I'm not getting, here I'm getting error. A dot B and also A dot test. I can able to see test A but not test B. Vice versa, it's not possible. So flowing of properties, this is not a possible. Always you have to create object of which class team? Parent class or child class. Whenever your classes are in a relationship, so always you have to create object of a child class. Then only you will get the advantage of inheritance. This inheritance we are calling as single level inheritance team. And this is also the type we are saying as a relation nothing great team, just a creating object inside another class. Creating object of one class in another class. Simple, has a relationship. And second one is easy relationship. So this you can achieve by using Java resort keyword. What is the resort keyword team? Extends. So whenever you say extends, so extends keyword, extend keyword. So before whatever the class you are saying, let's say here if you say B class, this B is acting as a parent, child team. Here always you have to follow this thing. Child extends parent. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is very, very important. So here inheritance ground rule. Always create a child class object, but not parent. Why child class? Why child class team? Why child class? Any confusion team?
No.
So why the inheritance ground rule? Why it is saying always create child class object? Harish, love you. See here, always create a child class object. See, observe here I have two classes. So whenever I say B extends A, my B is acting as a child, A is acting as a parent. Here, if I create a B class object, I can able to execute, I can able to access both my B class child class methods and variables, parent class methods and variables. That's why the inheritance ground rule always create a child class object, but not a parent. If you create a parent class object, you can able to execute only parent class properties. If you create a child class object, you can able to execute both parent class and child class. Simple example, team. Suppose if my father having a bike, my father can use, I can use. Flowing from parents to child.
Yeah.
So if I'm having a bike, let's say it's a sport bike, my father use it? Not
No.
possible,
Not possible.
right?
Yeah.
Observe.
Yeah.
Always think like that. Flowing of properties from a parent to child, not from a child to parent. This rule is very, very important.
Yeah, got it.
Right? So let's say if you are saying a B extends A, here what is the parent, what is the child type?
B is
B
parent.
is child and A is parent.
B is a child, A is a parent,
A is
right?
parent.
And
Yes.
one more point you have to remember here. Let's say here I made a relationship. My B class extends A class, nothing but flowing the properties from A class to B class. Now observe here. Here already I have made a relationship. Now B, you have to act as a child. Now Mr. A, you have to act as a parent. Now if you go again for A class, here if you say A extends B, here you will get an error thing.
Yeah, it's
Why?
not possible.
Because already you made some relationship here. Again you are changing a relationship. System get confused.
Yeah.
So if you made a relationship one time, that is the final. You should not change a relationship again and again. If you made a relationship one time, now what are the keyword before or left side to the extend keyword that will act as a child, right? What is the class? So which is right side to the extend keyword that is acting as a parent. Clear, team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you made a relationship, that's a final. You should not change again and again. Right? So this is we are calling as in inheritance. This is calling as single level. So only in one layer, right? This is we are calling as single level. If you want, you can maintain n number of classes like this. This is we are calling as
Multi-level.
multi-level. Let's say this is my A class, the B class, this is the C class. So how to write a syntax in here? Now tell me the syntax. Class C
Extends A and B.
extends
A.
A and B. So here my C extends B. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Here my B extends
Extends
A.
here. Observe my A is acting as a parent of B. My B is acting as a parent of C. And to C, A is a grandparent. For A, C is a grandchild.
Okay.
Or people are calling this super class team. So somewhere people are calling this is not only a parent class, this is a super class. So sometimes people are calling not only child class, this is also a class subclass. So in A perspective, this C is a grandchild. Creating
Yeah.
multi-level, single level, multi-level. Try this example, team. Try this example. Just try to
Okay.
take at least 3 to 4 classes. Try to maintain one variable, one method in each and every class. Try to execute all the methods and variables using single class object. Here, which class object you have to create in A class, B class, or C class?
C class.
I'll ask you one by one. What is your answer, Bhavya?
C class.
C class. Bhavya says C. Naresh?
Yeah, my answer also C.
C. Ashwini?
C.
You're saying thoughtfully.
Yeah.
A, B, or C? Let me ask you a question.
C.
A, B, C, all above.
C class.
See, always C class team. Why? Because
Yeah.
see, if you create a C class object, you can able to execute C class property. Nothing but you can able to execute C class methods and variables, B class methods and variables, even A class methods and variables. Our main intention is optimizing a number of object creation. The definition of inheritance is you can reduce number of object creation.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a multi-level. So take any number of classes, try to create end child class object. I'm repeating, create end child class object and try to access all the parent class methods and variables using that end child class object. Right? Multi-level. So we have a one more type called multiple. Right? Let's say I'm having class A, so I'm having class B. Right? Let's say, so if it is a allow, you have to create like this. Let's say this is a class, this is a B class, this is a C class. If so, here you have to make a relationship like this. What is the keyword we are using? Extends
Extend.
A, comma B. Right? Observe here. So directly I can say here. Here, if it is allows, so you have to create like this team. But here in Java, multiple inheritance is not possible. Multiple inheritance not possible. Why it is not possible? We have to discuss. Right? Let's say this my class name here I'm giving a men. This class name here I'm giving women. Right? Now let's say in a main there is a function called work. So there is a function called cry. So there is a function called eat. There is a function called work. Observe. If it is allows, child class, observe, child extends men, comma, women. So let me make it here. Child extends men, comma, women. Now, so if I want to create object, which class object I have to create in child class, men class, or women class?
Child class.
Child class. Why? Because inheritance ground is always you have to create object of child class, then only you can able to execute child class properties from parent class property. Right? Now, so let's say I have created object of C equal to new of C, and here if I call C dot eat, coming from where? Men or women?
Men.
Men. Right? So if I say C dot cry coming from
Women.
women, right? So if I say C dot work coming from
Both sex.
where, team?
Men
Here,
and women.
there will be a question. So if
Yeah.
it is allows, so by the time of execution, so program may get confused. That's why the people are entirely remove this multiple inheritance concept in a Java. So have you remember at the time of Java introduction, I said people are removed and Java is a C++ derived programming language. All the syntax are taken from a C and CPP program, but compared to C and CPP, Java is simple.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Why? Because this is a rarely used concept and confused concept. People are removed this multiple inheritance in Java because of this problem. So people are calling this a ambiguity problem.
Yeah.
The ambiguity problem or Fraggle problem. People are calling different names. So this is ambiguity. Because of this ambiguity problem, people are removed this multiple inheritance concept in Java. But this is a possible in C and CPP. Then how come it's possible in C and CPP? Based on a alphabetic order. See here, men, women. Men starting from M, right? Women starting from W, right? So it will pick from a men class in C and CPP. But the entire, so if you are try to create this one, you will get error. There is no concept of child extends men come women. You cannot create it. Okay, so this is a single level, multi-level, multiple. And the next one is hybrid team. So hybrid is nothing but it is a multi-level and multiple team. Anyway, multiple not possible. This is a combination of multi-level and multiple. Observe parent, parent, child, two parents. Here again grandparent, child, grandchild. This is a combination of this 2 and 3. Fourth one. Multi-level, multiple. Anyway, multiple is not possible. This multiple is not possible. This hybrid also not possible in Java. And the fifth one is, so most commonly used inheritance, hybrid. Sorry, hierarchy. Hierarchy in the sense there will be a one parent, multiple child classes. This is a possible and this is widely used concept. Only one parent. Let's say, so this is P parent. This is C1. This is C2. This is C3. This is C4. If you create object of P class, what the methods and variables you can able to access them? Come on team, you can guess it.
Extends P.
If I create object of P class, what are the methods and variables I can access? Parent class, right? Here also parent class. If you create object of a parent class, how many methods and variables you can access? Only that particular class. What is inheritance ground root team? whatever it may be, whenever it may be, always create a child class object to get advantage of inheritance. To reduce number of object creation, always create or go for a child class object creation. Then only you can able to execute both parent class properties and child class properties, methods and variables using a child class object. Here also, if you create object of C1 class, you can able to execute both C1 class object and parent class objects and methods and variables. And one more thing, here the relationship between C and P. C is a parent, C is a child. And what is C2D? What is
Child
C2?
class.
Again, it is a child class. Now,
Yeah.
what is the relationship between C1 and C2?
C.
So here we can say, normal language also will say siblings, but there is no programmatically relation team. So if you don't think, if you create object of C1 class, I can execute C1 and C2 class methods and variables. That is not the case. So there is no any relationship here. So you cannot execute the C1 system. So you cannot execute C2 methods and variables using C1 object. If you create object of C1, you can able to execute C1 class methods and variables and parent class methods and variables. That's it. Clearly,
Yeah.
right? Now let's say the definition. Inheritance nothing but so acquiring one class properties into another class. Inheritance. How many types of inheritance teams? We have two types. Has a relationship, is a relationship. Has a relation nothing but creating one class object inside another class. Let's say this is a class B. Example. Class B. Inside my class B class, so I can create object of a class like this. A equals to mu of A. So A is a independent class, B is also an independent class. As of now, there is no any relation between A and B. Right? Now go to the easy relationship. Easy relation nothing but like this. In easy relationship, we have a single level, multi-level, multiple, hybrid, hierarchy. In Java, so we have possibility of single level, multi-level, and hierarchy.
Okay.
Let me summarize. So here you have to remember the concepts and the keyword. We are using extend keyword. Whenever you say extends, so before extend keyword class acting as a child class, after extend keyword acting as a parent class. So whenever you made a relationship, always you have to create object of child class, but not parent. And if you made relationship single time, that's the final. You should not change again and again. If you try to change relationship, the program throws error. In Java, so in inheritance there are these 5 types inheritance types, but in Java it is possible to only single level, multi-level, so hierarchy. Why multiple inheritance not possible team? Because of ambiguity problem. Whenever your parent class, whenever you are both parent classes, if your child class having more than one parent, if the parent class having a common properties. Now here eat method, no issues. Cry method, no issues. When the problem comes, whenever you try to call a common method, then program get confused from which class I have to execute this method. Because of this ambiguity problem, people are remove this entire concept from Java. Clear, team? What
Yeah.
about inheritance? Please let me know if you have any doubts. Tomorrow, just practice one by one.
Okay.
Naresh,
Yeah, clear, I'm clear.
thanks. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, We'll wrap up the session. Ashwini,
Yeah, it's clear.
thank you, team.
Thank you.
Thanks. Try to spend at least 2 to 3 hours on this. Okay. Please let me know if you have
Okay.
any issues by the time of practicing. Okay. Thank you, team.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.